Hello and welcome back to Rage Gaming, and once again, Path of Exile. I'm someone who's played ARPGs casually over the years but never really committed to one properly. That was the case until Diablo 4 released, and then I played it pretty intensely, covering it here on the channel. I played the betas, pre-season, both season 1 and 2 so far, and naturally because of that my bar for ARPGs isn't all that high. Credit to the current Diablo team though, season 2 has been overall a massive improvement, and so there's still hope, or maybe you just cope. But anyway, a lot of people suggested I check out Path of Exile, an ARPG that released late 2013, a literal decade ago. It's a beloved and respected game, and I knew that going in, I just really hadn't seen much of it. Just aware that there's a sequel coming out, Path of Exile 2, and people are excited. I did exactly that though. I checked things out, genuinely blind, having never played it before. I just saw clips of the insane skill tree basically. Overall, I was really impressed by what I saw. The massive skill tree is interesting, but things like the gem system with how you get your abilities and the support gems that power them, the weapon swapping, the open world events, actually interesting elite mechanics, the variety of choice and build options that just smashes into you. Basically, the depth of these systems is a bit intimidating, somewhat overwhelming, but very interesting. If you don't take your time and really read everything being explained to you as a new player, I think you're just gonna have a bad time. But I did come away from the experience interested to learn more and certain in my excitement for Path of Exile 2, which I imagine will be a bit more streamlined, a bit more up to date, maybe more functional for a new player. Now, what I wasn't expecting after that video was the amount of people just being really welcoming and nice in the comments. There was a lot of great information, tips and advice, answering not just the questions I had in the video, but loads of useful details from me and other new players to consider. More than anything, there was just a lot of encouragement to keep going and make another video, which surprised me. So today I'm doing exactly that. I'm diving in deeper, and I'll be sharing lots of the topics and tips that people talked about in those comments as we go. So with that said, thanks for joining me again. Let's get started. We begin here in pretty much the first town that you actually start in, and my goal is to reach the second town today at very least. As a little refresher, I was playing what I believe is a duelist, and I began using a two-hand sword, kind of making a two-hand sword build. If we come back to the skill tree, you can see how I was kind of working things out, going through the physical attack route, increasing the attack damage, ultimately hitting Master of Arena, and then while I was unsure, I came through the middle to grab mana flows to help with my mana regen. In that situation, it was pretty insane. It really solved any mana issue I was having. And I also picked up Art of the Gladiator for big attack speed, global accuracy, and a bunch of other stuff. At this point, I made my choice after finding a two-hand weapon to go down into the two-handed melee damage route, where we got Destroyer, really all about that. I am not following a guide, I'm just kind of working out as I go. I think that's more interesting. So today, my plan is to really understand this build that I'm imagining and trying to make work and make it as strong as possible. With that in mind, I've got a leap, slam, jump, and a dash, and that's probably overkill. I probably only need one of these. I'm also using a stance, causing my AoE attacks to deal more damage in smaller radius or bigger radius for less damage. Potentially this isn't the most helpful, but I am using Molten Strike, which kind of works for that AoE I imagine, but most of my damage seems to be coming from double strike, which is what's causing a double hit and causing a bleed. Thanks to the comments of last time, I actually learned about bleeds a little bit. Thank you to Marta Ross, who said that bleeds only work for physical skills, and it's calculated based on the initial hit. So a big hit actually results in a bigger bleed. You can still stack bleeds on an enemy with smaller hits, but each instance is going to be individual. It's not going to refresh the other bleeds. And also, bleeds deal more damage against targets that are moving, which is really useful to know for bleed kiting. So thank you, Marta. What this has done has made me think, wow, bleed damage is very strong, especially with my own experience using it. As it feels like my strongest ability, I think I should be leaning into it and powering it as much as I can. So using a two-hand weapon is actually a good thing because I'm going to hit hard and generate a big bleed. When dealing with bosses, I'll hit them with multiple bleeds as I go and kite them around, hopefully causing them to move to take more damage. On that note, something that came up last time is the fact that I was getting gems that unlock new skills from quest rewards. I would have maybe 4 to 6 options, and I'd be pretty unsure about what I should best do, and then I make a choice and I feel like, wow, I can't go back if I made the wrong choice. A lot of people in the comments were letting me know that's not necessarily the case. Merchants that sell wands exist in every camp. I guess they're like the magic merchant. And there's actually a second tab here that I was unaware of, and as you can see, it's an absolute stack of gems for sale. Each and every one of these seems to be a different ability or very potent support. So maybe I can find a support for bleed concepts and enhance that as much as possible. And it lets me weigh up what I could have taken, and maybe now I've got more of an idea of what sort of build I'm going to run. Maybe I can buy some of these and get that. In terms of trading, it's quite interesting. The cost doesn't actually say gold or a currency of that nature, but resources. So for example, you can see I've got 8 of these Scroll of Wisdoms, so I could buy up to 8 of these, because most of them seem to cost 1 Scroll of Wisdom, and then some of them cost the more expensive, potentially, Orb of Transmutations, which actually maybe means these are stronger abilities and I should consider these first. On that note, there's been a bunch of quality of life tips in the comments. For example, we had a bunch from JR Huffenstuff. One of JR's tips is to do with the search bar in the passive tree, but also, as you can see, in the actual buying. So the first thing I'm going to do is write bleed and see what's relevant here, and we have 4 things. We've got double strike, which is what I'm using right now. Yes, of course. We've got chance to bleed support. Okay, so a support for bleeding. We've got an actual ability causing bleed. We have puncture. Puncture works with bows, daggers, claws, or swords, and I'm using a 2-hand sword. So that definitely seems like a thing I'm going to need. And then we have steel skin, which is a buff that grants immunity to bleeding. So not relevant to me. So I'm definitely going to be picking up puncture. That's 100%. That might actually be a core skill. It seems to just say causes bleeding and then deals more damage with bleeding. And it turns out upon reading double strike a bit better, this is a 50% chance to cause bleeding. It's not guaranteed. So I guess this is going to be my guaranteed way to cause bleeding. And then double strike says it deals extra damage against bleeding enemies. So I'm meant to cause bleeding with puncture and then smack them with double strike, which also might trigger more bleeds. And then before I spend ages working that one out, this also ties into the skill tree. Now this comment came from JR Huffenstuff based on me wanting to use 2-hand weapons, right? So if I write 2-hand, it's actually going to highlight everything in the skill tree that's relevant to 2-hand, and it looks like I'm going the right way. So we've got the tree here, but there's also something here, 2-hand mastery, and then over here we've got more 2-hand mastery, martial experience. Okay, but what I care about right now is bleeding, right? And how do I enhance that? So if I put bleed in, yes, we do have some that we can highlight. So we've got armor and evasion mastery. Okay, it's probably immune to bleeding or something. We've got Crimson Dance. You can inflict bleeding on an enemy up to 8 times. Okay, so there must be a cap on how many times you can stack a bleed, and this maybe raises it. And then we've got Bloodletting, plus 15% to damage over time multiplier for bleeding, 40% increased attack damage against bleeding. Okay, wow, we're going that way. To start with, then we're going to take puncture and slot it straight into my chest piece. We're going to lose dash because I don't need all this mobility. I've already got leap slam, and this green one hopefully can become a support skill to help puncture. In the meantime, we're still going to be using double strike on bleeding targets, and I've got a support gem there that's linked to it to add increased damage to those that are already bleeding, and also make this more likely to cause bleeds, which is great too. Something really cool about the UI here is that, as you can see, a support skill, I can see what it can support that I've got right now. So this one here could work on puncture, molten strike, and double strike in my case. So you find me here to begin our journey today on the way forward, to follow the Emperor's Road, which is what I'm doing right now to make my way hopefully to Act 2. As I've just shown in the intro, I've picked up a new bleed skill, which is causing bleed kind of instantly, and it's awesome, puncture. Then once I've caused bleeding, I'm hitting them with double strike, which deals more damage to those that are bleeding. Also, double strike can actually cause bleeding, and there's a very good chance of that. I think there's 75% because of my support skill, and each individual hit that's causing bleed is still its own individual stack of bleed, so it's still dealing great damage. The fact that I'm using a 2-hand weapon is also causing heavier hits, so heavier bleeds, and it's all working very well. I have one ability that I'm using from ability, which is that leap slam, and as I expected when I was looking at my abilities and considering things, yeah, having dash and leap slam is really overkill. So I'm looking to remove dash and find a new ability. I do have a random devouring totem that I got from a quest reward. The totem lasts for a few seconds. It sort of goes on the ground, right? And then it drains from corpses and seems to give me health. So as I fight, kill enemies, I seem to get health. It's leeching it back to me. So that's keeping me alive. But in short, I've got a dead skill in Molten Strike that I'm not really using. I've got dash that's unnecessary, and blood and sand, which might be good, might not be. Hello. I need to find a key to the seal. Okay. So yeah, 3 abilities that are dead, pretty much completely useless. I'm not sure what it is I'm going to need. I'm pretty happy with my setup with the attacks. So possibly what I'm looking for is some kind of relevant utility utility. I've got sort of a lifesteal effect I could do with maybe like shield or damage reduction, or maybe I'll find some sort of interesting utility that maybe can give me a damage buff or something. Before I continue, I need to make a pretty big change to my gameplay, and that is my basic default attack. I'm guessing you guys aren't really using this all that much. Maybe it's like a backup option, but essentially it's on left click. So as I click on something, I'll go and attack it. So let's repeatedly left click these guys. As I'm trying to swing, it swings and stops me, holds in place. It's quite bad if I'm, say, in a cave, tight corridors, which happens in this game, and I'm getting held in place because I'm trying to run away from a pack of enemies and I keep accidentally, say, clicking on one like that and standing there and, yeah, basically getting hit, which is not ideal. So a lot of what people are saying in the comments is, yeah, you don't actually want to have that bound. You want to unbind that pretty much as soon as possible, so you're able to move through these caves, these dungeons, packs of enemies by left clicking and not getting stuck on everything. Aha, so I understand how it works. At first you might go into input and try to work it out in here like I did. How it actually works is you click on the slot, this gives you all the abilities you currently have and you can just put it there. So I put my basic attack on 3 since I'm actually not using that ability at all, and now on where the auto attack was, you've got this icon, move only. So now I'm only moving with left click, and if I click on something, I'm not going to attack it. In fact, I'm going to walk straight through it. So that should help me with dealing with packs of enemies, especially as a melee that I'm trying to kite around, not get stuck on things. There you go. Look, as I click on these guys, I'm not attacking, I'm just moving straight through them, completely avoiding their attacks. Great tip. That's immediately feeling much better. So something I'm finding with my new setup, right, is that my maim, or sorry, puncture rather, it's pretty slow. It's a slow swing, causes the big bleed. Like on this guy, for example, the big guy, I hit him with a bleed, it's quite slow, whereas double strike is so much stronger. So I guess I want to get that bleed going and then spam the double strike as much as I can because it's a faster attack. And as I said in the first episode, it looks like there is actually animation cancelling in this. So if I were to do a basic attack, I could interrupt that basic attack with a double strike to send out sort of a triple combo really quick. So I could maim and then double strike pretty quick instead of using a basic, which is feeling really good. And I guess I just wanted to highlight that's a little thing I'm doing. I'm going for my puncture, then double striking straight after. It's quite a potent combo. As far as the mobility option goes, dude, Leap Slam is feeling so much better than Dash because Dash doesn't really do anything. It was nice when I had no mobility option at all, but this Leap Slam seems to have a little bit of an AoE, so it's also an attack, and it's actually quite impactful, relevant for my mobility and getting around. I also got this potion, a Quicksilver Flask, which is giving me kind of a little kind of dash. I'm not sure that I'm really needing 3 potions. And honestly, at this point, with the way my mana's going, I'm not sure I even need 1 mana potion. So I might lose one of these healing potions and get something for utility. If there's something that gives me attack speed or, I don't know, a DPS increase for a small period, maybe during like a mini boss or a boss fight, that might be really nice. But I might even just get like another movement speed increase because having 3 heal potions right now just feels unnecessary. So as I was following that road to kind of make my way to the next region, I got blocked by some random girl that sort of blocked the way with a sigil. And I guess what I'm doing right now, oh, the mini boss actually, let me just focus up on this, absolutely smash him. I can go toe to toe with him, it's great. With that totem, I've got like the healing potential. I put the bleed on them, then I just start absolutely spamming double strike, dealing loads of DPS. Yeah, basically, I got blocked, and I've got to find another way to get to the forest beyond. So I kind of found my way to this strange cave with lots of ghosts. Now I've gone inside of a crashed shipwreck in there, gone down a level, and now I'm in some caves. So I don't really know if this is the right way. I'm just kind of blindly going and enjoying learning this new build and trying to work out what's missing from it. So next time I go back, I'm going to look through all the gems and, you know, find something suitable. Oh, found myself another rare, so we're going to hit that bleed on him, keep on top of him by jumping and absolutely smashing the double strike. So he moved away, drop the totem for some heals, and then keep smashing him. Wow, I am starting to really kill stuff super quick. Oh, it looks like we come across an event, guarded by 3 packs of monsters, so let's pay attention. Kind of pre-buffing anyway. We're going to put down the totem immediately, touch it, spawn the packs in, hit the bleed, start double striking. Let's jump away so I'm not getting hit. And then that's it, I guess. Actually, there was no rare or anything. I thought that would be a lot harder. Cool. Got some scrolls. I'm getting a lot of these kind of resources that you use in town. And what's great about them is I know that I need these to actually trade for the gems to get my different abilities. I'm hopefully going to get some more support skills. Oh, we got another, what is this, a boss? Mini boss? So he's got the bleed on him, so I'm absolutely just spamming with double strike. I feel kind of dumb going toe-to-toe and not necessarily kiting anymore. But I mean, it's working really well, so I guess I'll just keep doing it for now. We got a slave girl here with a green icon. She dropped All Flame, distilled from naked ambition and unfettered obsession. Engulfs moths fool enough to embrace it. Feel like I shouldn't have picked that up. I've still got to search the graveyard, but I have found a quest here with Captain Fairgraves. I gave him the All Flame. He turned into like a ghostly skeleton and he's sending like a wave of enemies at me. Okay, we can deal with this. By the way, I love the fact that I seem to be able to bleed. Oh, I'm fighting him now. I seem to be able to actually bleed pretty much anything. It doesn't really make much sense, the fact that I'm bleeding these skeletons. But hey, I'll take it. The fact that it works as a build on anything is a relief. Interesting. So he dropped a two-handed bastard sword, which has 17 to 29 damage, which is a lot more than my current one. We need to go identify that, see if it's any good, maybe do some selling. I'm pretty full right now, but fortunately with me doing that side quest, I found a waypoint so I can go back. And there's a reward for waiting for me for doing that in town. So first things first, we're going to identify the sword by using the Scroll of Wisdom as before. It's called Tempest Bite. Compared to my current one, it certainly has more damage. Looks like it's got better attack speed. It adds more cold damage than fire damage comparatively. But yeah, 9% extra attack speed and gain life as you kill enemies. Seems awesome. We got ourselves an upgrade, although that's pretty important. Look at that. It's got only 2 slots and both of them are red. My main skills right now, double strike and puncture, are both green, so I kind of need more green slots than this. For the moment, let's put it on because it's got more damage and we'll work out what we can do about this. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take dash out of the chest and put it there where it's not being supported since it's not doing anything. We've got puncture, so we're going to take that faster attack support and put that there. Now they're linked. Supported skills have 22% increased attack speed. We know that puncture is quite a slow attack, so hopefully that makes it a bit faster, and that's the relevant thing there. Our boots are currently our kind of dead item, and thankfully I found a new pair, so let's identify those. And they're both green slots. Let's go. So we'll take these gems out of there. I'm going to put these on, and then we can actually slot these in. So we're going to get double strike back, which is awesome, but there's no link. That's so sad. Well, at least it gives us another green slot to work with if there's a different skill we're looking for that is green, but if these were linked, I'd be able to use it as a support skill. So we've got 3 potential dead skills right now. We want to change these. We're looking for utility, survival options, so something that can increase my damage and something that can reduce the damage I'm taking. This seems like an obvious choice. We've got Molten Shell here. It lasts for 3 seconds and applies a buff that adds to your armor, taking some of the damage from hits. When it's expired or depleted, it reflects the damage around you. So it's quite literally like a shield that I'm looking for, and the fact that it's a red as well is perfect for my awkward situation where, hey, look, I've got a red that I can buff up. Ideally, this second slot would be a red that's linked, and this could perfectly go there. As I said that, I was looking through these items and I instantly found one. Look, Orb of Fusing. It reforges the links between sockets of an item. The question is, will this change it to like different colors, or will it just put these linked and that would work for me? Item sockets are not empty. Okay, we're going to right click it and apply it to this, and now it's linked it. Okay, so if I get a green, I can attach it to the double strike, which could be relevant. This is the best one I can find for it. It's just going to give a little bit more attack speed to the double strike. So rather than not having that, why not have it? So I bought that, we slot it in here, and now this has better attack speed because it's being supported. We're about to continue on then with the main mission, but this is my new ability, Molten Shell, applying that buff that adds to my armor, taking some of the damage and kind of reflecting it as it pops. Looks awesome. So here we are, we put it on. Oh, okay, wow, the 12 stacks get consumed. Oh my god, I'm getting absolutely destroyed. The stacks get consumed pretty quickly when you're being attacked like that, but as you can see, it is reducing damage, popping in AoE, dealing a little bit of damage. It'd be nice if we could increase the damage of that, or maybe just the strength of the shield, but for now, it's a nice starting point. I actually have a defensive that'll be relevant in boss fights, I'm sure. Big news, I just dinged when killing a rare, so I'm now able to finally reach Crimson Dance. We can inflict bleeding on enemy up to 8 times. I imagine that's going to be most relevant in single target. I just got a achievement for that. Yeah, I imagine that's going to be most relevant in single target, where I'm absolutely smashing a target repeatedly. Most everything I hit just kind of dies on the first hit right now, because I guess I've got like pretty okay, everything's pretty okay gear, I mean to say. Everything's pretty yellow at this point. Oh yeah, wow, wow. Just on that elite, with the attack speed that I've got from the support skills that we were working on just then, and we're leveling them up as well, holy hell was my attack speed fast. Just stacking up the bleeds over and over. He died so quick before they could do anything, but against a real boss, I'm excited. So I've searched around this cave for a while. We finally found a new entrance, the Cavern of Wrath. Doesn't sound the most inviting, but hey, we do have a new waypoint, and it has brought us to the right. We're looking for this cave, I guess, for a quest we're on, so let's have a look around. A treasure chest that's guarded, it's like an event. Whispering essence of, whoa, monsters imprisoned by powerful essence. Okay, so I think I've seen something similar to this before. Yep, just sort of spawns in a bunch of enemies. I gotta be careful not to stand in the middle of that. Let's put the shield on, drop the totem so we start getting some healing as soon as we generate some corpses. Circling around, keep the bleed going on the main guy and keep double striking him. He's done, and that's done. Then we get that, whatever that is, and we have the chest, which is just, hey, more enemies. Okay, let's put the shield back on, totem back down, cause the bleed on this guy, start absolutely spamming. Oh my god, look at the DPS. Oh my god. Wow, once you get going on a target like this feels incredible. You just need to control the situation long enough to start smashing them. That's what I need. We might get a damage buff, sure, but I'm not sure about the last button, right? I need a stun or something. And we have another ding, another rare. Let's get the bleed on him. Start healing up a little bit. Start smashing him. There we go. Beautiful. Clean that up. And let's get the next skill point. I don't know whether I can get the new sort of keystone for bleeds. Probably have to go around it in the circle. Let's have a look. Yeah, so I want to get to bloodletting, but there's this key mastery thing in the middle here. Allocate after taking a notable passive skill in this cluster. So I imagine I've got to work my way around to bloodletting, then I can get the bleeding mastery. I don't think I need more chance to cause bleeding. I probably have enough. So let's do the increase to damage over time multiplier for bleeding to get to it. Although maybe I'll want all of them in the end. There we go. We're making progress. There's a load of gold on the ground. She says she got a lot to share with me, so I imagine I'm about... Oh yeah, there's big money in here. There's big money in here. And we have the boss, Merville the Siren. Right, so totem down, shield up, dodge on her, apply the bleed. We're going to apply a couple, then start smashing her with double strikes. Look at the DPS. Okay, beautiful. She's running away already. Jumping away, let's jump to her. Shield on, totem down, apply the next bleed. We'll put a couple on her, then start smashing with the double strike. Try to heal. Look at that, she's attacking my totem. In fact, a few of the enemies are. It actually distracts them. Right, she's done. Let's just kite these guys. They're going to be good for corpses, for healing. She's now turned into a Siren, which is obviously what she was. Let's apply the bleed, keep healing up, and smash her with some double strikes. Oh my god, the damage. Let's keep healing. Please, totem, do something. Put the shield on. Try not to walk into these tornadoes of water. I'm overwhelmed right now. Let's jump to her. Get the bleed on her. If we keep the bleed on her, if she keeps jumping around, at least we're dealing DPS. Try not to stand and tank all the hits of the small guys, please. Shield on, totem down. Smash some of the small guys so we get some healing from the totem. Jump over to her, apply the bleed. Let's finish her off. And there you go. That was overwhelming. Holy hell. Oh, hang on. Get away from me. Woo! That was intense. We got, whoa, 5 yellows, a knife, some gloves. Maybe we'll get some better slots. Some boots, okay. Let's have a look. Oiled vest is sadly not pick-upable, but there is some interesting colours on that one. But hey, the quest is updated. It says find the exit to Act 2. So it's probably behind the throne room. I feel like there should be some gold here that I can take. No, it was all illusion. It's just piles of bones that look like gold. So we made it to the forest, which is Act 2, right? Yes, we're in a new region, so at the top you can see what act you're in and press the tab to go back or whatever. Maybe I've got some quest to hand in, but let's find the hub here. We're finally in the forest. Oh, visually so different. And we have some totally new enemies in the form of blood apes. How delightful. Although we fit right in, we're all about bleeding here. Some like mini guys with some strength to them. Probably got some nasty attack speed to them with whatever buff they've got. It's a bit awkward, the UI. I'd love to see, say, well, look at Blood Chieftain. I'd love to look at like a buffed up enemy and see what their effect does, which I can do. There's nothing stopping me from doing that. I'll hover over them and look. Meanwhile, they're absolutely slapping the hell out of me and I'm getting destroyed. So I can't really stop and look all that well. I'm not sure how you would do that in an ARPG though. Like, let me look at their stats. Maybe like they have party portraits on the left I can hover over while moving and fighting or something. I love how scary elites were on like my first day playing, and now with a build with an actual idea behind it and all yellows, I am just kind of destroying stuff. And I have the shield and the healing to rely on. The forest encampment. Is this the first hub? This is the hub of Act 2. Let's go. So here's the map. It looks like it actually splits off. We'll go left or right. And while we're here, we're also just going to sell all this junk that we're not going to use. Get some nice equipment for it. Einar the Beastmaster. Oh, wow. They have their own, what is it, bestiary? They have their own monster information. We've got the wild, sands, caverns, deep, recipes, and capture beasts, which is 0. So felines, primates, canines, Ursay. Oh my god. How does this work? Do I need to have killed like a certain amount of them to learn about them or something? I've killed a bunch of stuff. Surely I've got some progress somewhere. Or maybe it doesn't count until I've met this dude the first time. Yeah, look at these primates. The artwork's really nice. It's like the Monster Hunter section, basically. So my question at this point, right, is I'm desperately needing better gem slots. I can see that I can buy some options here. Maybe I'll find something suitable. The problem is, you know, it's blue at best, it would seem. And these are like yellow quality. Is yellow quality mega better than blue and so I should stick with this? Or am I going to get power crept by even blue items because they're just progressing, you know, Act 2, Act 3 items so much better than Act 1, even if the Act 1s are yellow? Let me know if you have any advice about this. One thing maybe I should buy is an amulet. I have a couple of rings, right? But this slot's empty, so I'm assuming it's the amulet slot. I guess I want to pick up something that just gives me a bit of damage. Here you go, plus 28 strength on an amulet, only an orb of transmutation. Perfect, so now we actually have a first amulet. Fantastic. Oh my god. Chromatic orbs reforges the color of sockets on an item. This is exactly what I've been looking for. But it costs 3 jeweler's orbs. Oh my god. Well, at least I know it exists now. On the bright side, we're back at the Act 1 camp because I did complete some quests at the end there. We have some rewards. We have Lacerate, we got Sweep, Rain of Arrows, Shattering Steel, and Earth Shatter. Lacerate slashes twice, releasing waves of force that damages enemies they hit. Enemies in the middle of the slashes can be hit by both. They have a chance to inflict bleeding in blood stance or have a wider angle in sand stance, used with axes and swords. It actually works with the stance. Maybe I should keep it. Well, we've got to try it. We've got to try this. Otherwise, Sweep is a two-handed sort of circle AoE, which doesn't sound bad with a knockback. Ranged attacks, not relevant. Projectile using a axe or sword could be useful. Or a slam. All of that sounds good. I'm going for Lacerate. It's relevant to bleed. We've got to try bleed stuff. And since it's a weapon attack, I guess I'll drop double strike for now and nicely put Lacerate in, which will be enhanced by the faster attack support. It looks cool though. 25% chance to cause bleeding while in blood stance. Well, okay, so actually enhancing that chance to cause the bleed might actually be really good. It's a question of should I be spamming punctures or Lacerate, because I was spamming double strike and that was working out really well. With that in mind, there's one skill that I'm thinking about swapping, which is my default attack. Again, we might keep this because it does have purpose if you run out of mana, but I'll take one more look and see if I can find like a damage buff or a stun or something like that. Well, I found it, I think. War Banner. Casting once reserves mana to carry a banner which increases the accuracy of nearby allies and physical damage taken by nearby enemies. Gain stages by killing enemies while carrying the banner. Press it again and you put the banner down, ending the mana reservation, and it becomes more powerful for each stage gain. We gotta try it. So let's take off the auto attack, put on the War Banner. Let's go use it against some basic enemies here really quick. So first up we have Lacerate, which is, like a ranged attack. That looks incredible. It's basically double strike, but with a ranged effect. But maybe it doesn't hit quite as hard, or it actually has less chance to cause bleed buildup. Meanwhile, we have the War Banner. So put on the banner. We got it on our back now. We see that there's a chunk of mana. Ah, I see. So there's a chunk of mana that is, reserved, taken up. So I don't have as much mana as before, but since I'm not having any mana issues, maybe it'll be okay. And we just power it up by fighting. And the fact that the Lacerate has a chance to sort of attack from range is actually incredible. And I can almost play at sort of a medium range by kiting. That's awesome. Anyway, with the War Banner powered up, we press it again, we put it down, we get further buff. And we can see here you have increased accuracy and there's a short buff there too. Let's put on another one. At 8, we're going to drop it down, giving us just a 1-second buff, which is not very much. But maybe if I power up for longer, it'll be worth it. But I'm quite liking the look of our current setup. But yeah, with that, we've made it to the start of Act 2, which was kind of my goal for today. I've really sorted out the build. We have a mobility, we have a lifesteal totem that also distracts, our own shield that reflects, we got the banner that we juice up that gives us accuracy, though I don't necessarily know what accuracy does. Maybe I'm just less likely to miss my attacks. The Blood and Sand buff, well, we're going to keep this in the end because it's actually relevant to our new ability Lacerate, which is sort of a medium range option for kiting and dealing damage. Less chance to cause blood though, and it might be an issue for single target because I was doing double strike and that felt amazing. It might come back, I might drop this, but for now puncture is my way to cause bleeding for sure. It's just a question of should I be spamming puncture or lacerate once I've got a puncture going. Further testing needed. I'm kind of excited to keep playing. I feel like I haven't made as much progress in this episode as I did last time in the actual gameplay section, but the build stuff has really come forward. If you guys would like to see a third episode, I could maybe crank out the entire of Act 2 in one video, because hopefully I'll be less focused on dealing with my build and just going. If you'd like to see more then, let us know in the comments, and especially like the video. I'd love to be able to keep making PoE videos, at least for a little while. If you have any tips for me with my armor or other stuff that I've been asking about, please let me know. I feel like I just don't have the right gem link-ups or gem slots, and again, I'm not sure how often I should be upgrading my gear, because all of these are yellow and awesome, but maybe the stuff that drops in Act 2 is that much better that I might as well still swap. For now though, I've been Hollow, you've been you, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world our stage. Goodbye.